Hello and welcome to African Nostalgia. My name is Daniel Mutia and today I'll be talking to my collaborator, Henry Mwangangi. He will be the first to tell his story. I know we have many stories, and today he's going to tell us one of his favorite memories growing up. Henry, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you, Dan. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very excited to get started on this journey of telling stories with you.
I am excited as well.
So, what story do you want to tell us today?
I have many stories, but the one that I can't seem to get out of my mind is one story in particular about where I grew up. First of all, I grew up in Sekuru. We grew up basically almost the same places,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you know what I mean. So growing up in Sekuru, Mwingi, of course there were challenges like any other African rural setup, but one of the stories that I remember with a lot of fondness
Yeah.
is the story of our search for water. We would walk for kilometers on end with our donkeys in search of water. But the most interesting part about it was we would walk in large numbers. Yeah, we would collect villagers. We would organize boys and girls from different villages to go to one particular source of water. The water points were not very many, so
Yeah.
we would converge at particular points. I think there were around 2 or 3 sources of water during the dry season. That is,
Yeah.
because the rain season again people have harvested water, but during the drought season, that's August and all that, people would converge in very large numbers to go to those places, and it was very competitive.
Yeah.
And there's this one day, my mom, I was leaving primary school, like we're coming from school at 1 p.m.
Yeah.
and I did not even get to go to get to home to change even the school uniform. My mom brought me the donkeys to school after I left school. I took the donkeys and went to the straight to the water point, because school was like halfway to the water point.
So how far was this water place, and how did you plan to converge together and go?
So here's the thing. It was around 17 kilometers from home to where the water point was. So it was a bit of distance.
Yeah.
It would take a lot of time. So, and because of the competition, we had to organize to either go at night or very early in the morning. So what would happen is, if we're going at night, we would wait with my cousins, with people from other places.
Yeah.
Through the word of mouth, you'd meet when you're coming from school and tell them, today we're going to fetch water, so
Yeah.
we converge at our place at this time or after food. So you just wait to hear the sound of jerry cans and donkeys.
Yeah.
Then it's time to go. So that's when you're going during the evening. And there's this one day, I kid you not, we've just fetched water. We are loading our donkeys, the jerry cans. When I hear a guy, Somali guy, say, nafanya nini hapa? What are you doing here? And I kid you not, I was scared. My heart was leaping. I'm probably the eldest among the group that I'd gone with. I'm with these young girls, and I'm like, now what am I going to do? So I switch off. We used to use torches.
Yeah.
To because it's dark, obviously.
Yeah.
So I switch off the torch to remain as silent as possible, because again those guys had guns here.
Yeah.
So I switch off the light. Good thing we'd already loaded almost every jerry can, so we were doing our last donkey, and slowly we command the donkeys now to start moving, and that's how we escaped that story. I told my mom that story. She was like, "You're no longer going to fetch the water at night."
In terms of gender and division of roles, was the fetching water dedicated to one gender, or it just depended on the family setup?
It was not. The water fetching roles was 50-50, like I said, because it depended on the availability of whoever was available at that time. So could be a lady, could be a dude. Now, when it came to parents trusting their girls, or their girls with other boys, they're going to fetch water, it's because the community setup is one that whereby everyone knows everyone, right? So they understand who is of questionable character, who is responsible, who can we entrust our girls with, and I happen to be one of those people whose character was quite open, and I was trustworthy. So people would entrust me with their girls to go to escort them to the river. And again, it also touched on neighborliness, being good neighbors. So every neighbor would entrust their neighbor with the kid. Sometimes even if no one is available at your home to go, you would entrust your neighbor with your donkeys to go and fetch the water for you at no cost. Maybe perhaps they would even take a jerrycan in exchange for the services, a jerrycan of water. Wow. So how was it?
A lot of organization. It sounds like actually like making a family work is such a managerial role.
It requires a lot of managerial skills, balancing this stuff, and knowing who to assign what.
Yeah.
Parents are basically managers.
So, Henry, just to follow up on this long walk, there's a book by Mandela called The Long Walk to Freedom.
Yeah.
For you, I think it's The Long Walk to Water.
Yes.
17 kilometers. I want you to take me through that experience.
Yeah.
Because that's a very long distance.
Yeah.
And it seems like you had to do this over and over again.
Yeah.
And you said, you were in primary school, so that is, early teenage years,
Yeah.
late teenage years. How was it like? Like you must have been exhausted. So just take me through the experience. How was it like?
Okay. Walking for 17 kilometers is strenuous on anyone, not just a teenage boy, even an adult walking for such a long distance can be tedious. But the thing is, when you grow up in such a setup, it becomes one of those activities that you just get used to, because everyone knew that when it comes to the dry season, you have to walk to get water. For those who did not have shallow wells, again, shallow wells were very rare at that time. Only a few dynasties had them. So if you are not part of the dynasties, you knew that it's given that once the time comes, you'll have to get used to it. So with me, walking for those kilometers was exhausting, first of all, but it was one of those things that they're tiresome, yes, but you have to get used to them because you have little or no choice. You can only fetch how much water do you think you can carry on a donkey? It was only around 60 liters per donkey. Yeah? So if you have like 3 donkeys, will get you enough water to take you through 2-3 days for domestic use, for animals and showering and food.
Yeah.
But then you had to program, you had to make sure it sticks in your head that after every 3 days I have to do this. And again, once you got the gist of it, it became simple really. Instead of looking at it as a task, it become more of the way you do breathing. It's part of your life. You have to get used to it. But then again, it also made me want to change the situation very much and think, if I were to get to a particular position where I can help, maybe the first priority would be definitely a borehole to make life easier for others and all that.
Yeah, that's interesting that, because it sounds like it developed a lot of your personal discipline.
It did.
Your resilience.
It did.
And also fuel your ambition to to want to create a better future for the community. And also, it sounds like you didn't need to go to the gym because you do like this long walk. You would like do the lifting.
You know, it's part of. I don't like walking today. Those who know me know I don't like walking, and I think it's partly because I walked too much as a child.
Yeah.
Even going to school, you had to walk. And the school, there was a school near our home, but for some reason my dad insisted that I go to a school that is farther away. I don't know. Was he trying to teach me? I'll never understand. Even when I see people trying to go for morning runs, I remember a friend of mine. His name is Kamau. Told me, "Let's go for a run." I told him, no. Is someone chasing you? Why are you going for that? To me, it's to keep physically fit. I said, nah, there are other ways I can keep physically fit, but no walking. I walked so much as a child. I just don't do walking anymore at this point.
So walking, running is definitely none of your hobbies.
No.
Not on your list.
Not my cup of tea. Running, the Bible says the wicked shall run when no one is chasing them. Why do you think I'm wicked? so if I can exercise without running, I'm going to. But the thing is, it shaped who I am, my resilience and my ability to just bounce back from even the worst of situations. Because you go fetch water today, you think it's done for the week. No, the day after today you'll start over again. There will be no water left. You have to start from zero. So to date, I can start life from zero.
Yeah.
And work my way up. I don't mind it. Somehow was shaped by those experiences.
Yeah, you're not scared of starting over.
I'm not scared of losing everything I have today. If I lose everything I have today, I still have my resilience.
Yeah.
I still have the brains and the ability to pick from whatever position I am.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting what you said that you don't like walking. You know, nowadays people do that for fun. You know, like they want to go. Especially if you live in the city, you don't have a lot of opportunities to walk. So people decide, oh, today I walk 20,000 steps and so on. So for you, is that does that stress you, like just the idea of just going out and walking?
I don't know how to play. Is it PTSD? I don't know. But having walked that much in my early childhood, it's not something I enjoy. So when I'm in the city and my city friends are saying it's a short distance, we need to exercise. I'm like, no, I walked my entire life. I exercised enough when I was young. So if I can afford a cab now, I'll take the cab. Thank you very much for suggesting the walking. And somehow my body physique as well is not the type that just get unwell of a day just by not walking. So I don't know if it was shaped by that walking that I did as a child.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Interesting. Just to go back to the water fetching story.
Yes.
I mean, you said it motivated you to want to change the situation.
Yes.
But the fact that you still remember it with nostalgia.
Yes.
There must surely be things you miss about it.
There are a lot of things
you miss about it.
Exactly. Not everything was bad about the experience.
Yeah.
I mean, the experience in itself was dehumanizing, to say the least. But the community, the support that you got from just working with those people, the stories that were shared on the way. 17 kilometers is a long way. I miss those. I mean, I don't think I can ever get that chance to ever be in such a setup with so many people headed towards the same direction. It's very rare. So I remember those things vividly and with a lot of nostalgia.
Do you think there are some skills you picked from that experience that sort of come into play in your life now?
Definitely. Learning to work with people started there. Learning to support people. Imagine, like the story I told about I was with young ladies. Yeah, I learned responsibility from that particular point because parents would entrust the smaller kids with the elder ones and tell you, no, you're responsible for going with this one, showing them the way. So a lot of life skills and a lot of values were inculcated in me just through those experiences, and bonding with those people. It's something I do miss for sure.
Has the situation changed, or like?
It has changed a lot. These days, almost everyone has like their own channel at home, so people rarely converge in such numbers, and when they do, they're on their phones.
Okay, and you mentioned that you now have a water dispenser in your home, so you
again,
life is different.
Life has somehow changed. Life has changed definitely, but I do wish sometimes that life could be as simpler as it was those times.
Yeah. Yep.
Again, I said another thing I miss about the community of growing up in the village is those communal practices like Mwangangi. People did not even expect anything in return. They would, if you had, okay, Mwangangi was like a social gathering where people come to help whoever is in need, and it didn't have to be a needy person. It was just maybe you're well off, but you're in need of a certain service at that time. So people would come from different villages and converge and say probably harvest produce from the farms, and that sort of selflessness that people are willing to just sacrifice an entire day. These days you cannot get such services for free. No one is giving you services for free. These days people have with capitalism, people have placed a lot of value on their time, and we're losing that community and that selflessness that comes with just giving without expecting back.
I mean, I have my own stories about the Mwebia and the communal organization. Nowadays people talk about the Human Development Index and happiness and all those things, and we like to quantify them in terms of money. And it's interesting to hear that in the rural settings, people, I'm not sure about now, but about the time you're talking about, that people were closer together, that they supported each other, that they saw solving each other's needs as a community's responsibility. Do you think there's that is something we should borrow, like in the cities and in other places in the world, or that would be impossible?
I mean, we can always learn from each other. We can take things from the village, we can take things from the city. In terms of the selflessness of offering services without expecting back, I don't know how practical it would be in a city setup, because I mean, living in the city is very expensive, and majority of the people living in the city are survival for the fittest, every man for himself. Everyone is trying to milk an extra dollar from the other, but I think it's something that can be borrowed from everyone. It can apply to everyone. I mean, if we were to apply that, it borrows on socialism as well. Like, I mean, why would you have a lot of money yet another person is suffering? You understand? But it becomes debatable now. How do we apply that in the city center? Is it through non-government organizations, through donations? There are people who try to do that. I wouldn't say I know how to apply that particular sort of thing in the urban setup, but I think it would be good if people would follow that.
Yeah, because in the village, if you visit someone, they have to make you tea, they have to tell you to wait for the dinner to be ready. Here in Nairobi, when you visit someone, they actually throw the sufuria under the bed.
High cost of living.
Anyway, that's
safely.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Henry, for sharing your story. I think that's super intriguing, because a lot of people I meet, they grew up with water points that were so close to their home, and like all you had to do is to open a tap. So it's nice to hear this other side, and it's nice to hear about the lessons that you learned from that. to learn a lot about the society, the community, and to see how you transformed from that person to coming to the city where maybe water is closely available. I know there are also challenges there, and also to hear about your ambition to solve that problem.
Yes.
And you know, I know from the community you come from a lineage of long distance traders, so you got to join in the work. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I am sure that the audience has enjoyed listening to this story. Guys, just imagine walking for 17 kilometers to and fro every other day. That is 34 kilometers, much longer than a marathon. Can you imagine that? Guys, keep it African nostalgia for such stories, and stories on religion, farming, cultural ceremonies, relationships, entrepreneurship, and so on, from the countryside to the cities. Keep it African nostalgia. Keep a lookout, subscribe to our channels, and we'll keep you entertained, informed, educated, and more excited about being African. Let's build this community. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And if you have a story to tell, please get in touch with us through the comment section or shoot us an email to get in touch with us. Thank you for today. Keep it African nostalgia. It was amazing to have you. Goodbye.